What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec and welcome to the fourth video in my Customizing Parrot with Ansible series. And the focus of this video is going to be on logging, specifically IPTABLES/UFW and auditd. And logging is super important because it's something you can only do before the fact. If you decided you wanted logging now to see things in the past, it just can't happen. So it makes sense configuring it right when we install our OS. And most people, at least in the security field, view logging as a way to identify compromise, which, yes, you should have logging so you can identify if your machine's doing something you didn't expect, but it has so many other values that you'll find out after the fact, right? For example, if your IP address gets burned, maybe someone thinks you're doing something malicious, they may try to connect back to your box, and if you have good IP tables logging, you can see every connection that starts with someone connecting to you. So if someone nmaps your box, you'll know, which is definitely a handy thing to know. Additionally, if you're going to do a report or someone asks you for a timestamp of something that happens and you didn't log it manually, you can go back in your auditd or network logs and try to piece together exactly what time that happened. So with that being said, let's start off with doing the IP tables logging because I think that's going to be a bit simpler than all the auditd stuff, right? So I'm going to start off by just copying my main playbook over to dev shm so we can just have these top three lines, which is the start of something with Ansible, right? And we're going to change this name not from customizing Parrot to configuring UFW/IP tables. And now I'm going to open up VS Code because we have learned from previous videos that Copilot does help us a lot with these playbooks by providing just suggestions on what we want to do, right? So I'm going to click main.yaml and we're just going to start off with tasks. And the first thing we want to do is identify if UFW is enabled. And wow, we can see based upon the name, it has install UFW and put all this stuff in. We probably don't want to configure it this way. So I'm just going to delete that. And actually, let's see. This is apt, so it's just making sure UFW is installed. I think we know it is already, yes. So I'm going to get rid of install UFW. We can do configure, and we can say state enabled. That's going to make sure UFW is running. And then policy allow. This should change UFW to be default to allow. I'm going to comment this out first real quick, so we can see exactly what this playbook does without it. And also we need one thing. This is going to be become, yes, become method sudo. So UFW right now is not enabled. I can verify that by just doing an IPTables-L. I'm going to do -N to not show DNS, but it just shows these three chains. And UFW is going to create a lot more chains. So let's now do Ansible playbook main.yaml, and it's going to now configure UFW. It changed the state to enabled. So if I do this, we can see a bunch more chains are here, right? The other thing it did was change my default policies. So we can see now my default policy of input is drop. And I really don't like that. If this was any other thing than like an attacking machine, I'd like it. But because I want to like stand up netcat on random ports and not have UFW block me, I'm going to change that to allow. So we're just going to run the playbook again. And now when we do a IPTables-L, we should see the default chain is set to accept. So that's great. However, we're not logging when machines connect to us. So we want to add that line. And UFW is uncomplicated firewall. It doesn't have a lot of advanced things, but it is based off of IP tables, or mainly it's like a wrapper around IP tables. So it has a lot of files. And if we add something to like the after.rules, let's do a sudo here, we can see we can just add native IP tables commands. So this is where we're going to add our command to log SYN packets, right? So let's go -name, and we're going to call this, we don't want configure IP tables. We'll say log SYN packets on input chain. And maybe UFW does do something. I don't know what logging limit is, but I'm not going to do it the UFW way. We're just going to edit the file because it's going to show a pretty cool Ansible thing. There's a built-in module called LineInFile. And what we'll be able to do with this is say the path is going to be Etsy UFW. I'm going to put it in the after rules. It can either run like before UFW adds everything or after it adds everything. And I'm going to do it in after just because I want to take advantage of some chains that UFW may create, right? So we're going to do the after rule. And then I think it may actually have the right line. So we do A. We want to change again after input. P TCP, yes. -- SYN. We're going into the log chain and we're doing a log prefix. And it's not going to be log block. I'm going to call it UFW SYN -log. So that's what we're going to prefix it with. And then where we want to insert it. So I want to insert it before this line. So I'm going to say, let's see, I think I can do insert before, and we'll put this in quotes. And we can do line. Oh, we already did line there. So I wonder if this is going to work. Let's just see exactly what happens with this. So I'm going to CP after rules to dev shm, just so we have a backup. And let's go and restart UFW. So we'll do sudo or Ansible playbook main, and we'll see how this thing errors. We got a permission error, so we need to become method. Run it again. It's configuring, and it says it changed the file. So let's do cd- to go into the previous working directory, and then we cat after rules with sudo, and we can see we have successfully added that line before the line we wanted. So this all looks good. So if we do a sudo UFW, actually systemctl UFW restart, or restart UFW, we have now restarted it. If we do sudo IPTables L, we can list things. And let's see, there should be, let's just grep -I for SYN. There we go. So we can see we are logging it. So the next piece is to go to var log and find out what the log file it would be in. It's either messages or ls grep message or syslog. We don't have either of those. Systemctl status rsyslog. Rsyslog is disabled. We definitely want rsyslog. So we'll do -name, enable rsyslog service. Okay, that seems to be good. Dev shm. We may have to restart a box. So Ansible playbook main. Let's see exactly what happens. It says it's restarted. ls grep sys. Oh, sweet. We have syslog now. So syslog, we can sudo. Let's see. UFW blocking a lot of things. Sudo IPTables -L-N less input is accept. The forward is dropped, so I'm guessing it's blocking something on the forward chain, which I think is fine. We can always change that to be enabled if we really wanted to. But let's cat syslog grep-i for SYN. And we don't have anything yet. So we should try to ping our box. So not ping, because ping won't send a SYN, but we should curl. So I'm going to grab this IP. We're going to go to a different box. I'm going to curl my IP. We can see we can't connect on 443. I'm going to do 8000 as well. So we tried 2 connections. And now if I grep again on SYN, we can see those. And I think I said 443 before, but it was port 80. And we can probably validate that. So we have UDP SYN log in this interface, MAC address, source, destination, TTL. We got source port of 50,032 and destination port of 80. So this was us just doing the curl on port 80. And then we also have this one with a destination port of 8000. So hopefully you can identify the beneficial thing of this, right? And let's just say we did a netcat on port 9001 and we can connect to it. So if we connect, we go back and let's just say we got our shell, right? And we didn't log anything. And this is like days after. We just look at the SYN and we can see, oh, that host connected to us. Here's the 9001. And we have the exact time right here that we could put in the report. So super beneficial to have this type of IP tables logging. So let's go now dev shm. We can copy main.yaml to the, actually, let's just go code parrot build, roles. Let's do Ansible, Galaxy, init, and I'm going to do configure-logging. And then we go into configure logging, tasks, cp dev shm main to ufw.yaml. And we can just start with this. Unindent once, unindent twice, save it, edit main YAML, and I think it's just include, is it include ufw.yaml? Is that it? Let's just go up one. We can do customize. What is one we did it on? Probably customize browser, tasks main. We need a dash include. Like that. So now we have this role done. Let's go in dev shm again and start playing with auditd. And if you've never used auditd, I would highly recommend one of my videos as like a good precursor. If we go to YouTube, we should be able to search for like IPSec auditd and get to one. Let's see. I think it was the OMI God video that I did a good job with it. And that goes over like explaining exactly like how the config works well, or like how each item in the config works. Let's do auditd IPSec. I don't know why my Firefox is going so slow. Come on. It's thinking. There we go. Detecting exploits. This video is one I would highly recommend. So let's just start with installing auditd. We can change this name to be install and configure auditd. And if we delete all these tasks, because we've already copied them into our main playbook, hopefully it tells us. We definitely don't want yum. I think we could just change this name to apt to install it. And we have to figure out what auditd rules we want. Let's see. So what is it doing? It's using notify to restart auditd. Okay, so let's just search auditd Florian Roth. These are going to be the rules I really enjoy using. So I'm going to copy this, grab audit.rules. And whenever I do like these type of rules, I like just manually modifying it. We could use git file to always download the latest rules, but the downside with that is they may change, they may not know it, and they may put a bunch of junk or delete things that you were using before. So I always like just maintaining my own rule file. So I can call this, was it audit.rules? Paste. I guess we can wget that. Okay. So we have auditd rules now. So let's see. They're in files. So we can now do the copy source audit.rules. And we want to, this is the auditd config. We don't want to touch that. Audit rules. Copy audit rules. And we don't copy it to this directory, the etc audit rules. We copy it to, let's see. We don't have auditd installed. I think it's audit, then rules.d is where we copy it to. But let us comment this line out. And let's install auditd. We also need a become true become method sudo. Okay. Sudo who am I? Make sure I have the token still. Ansible playbook main. And this will hopefully install auditd. No package named audit. It's probably auditd. Gathering facts. It's taking a little longer. So now it is definitely installing auditd. So if I go ls etc audit, we need to do sudo. We can see there is a rules.d file, and that's where we actually put the rules. If we just overwrote audit.rules, it would get clobbered the next time auditd restarts because every time it builds things from rules.d. So if we do rules.d here, we can see there's just an audit rules there. So we can uncomment this. What was the hotkey? If you do Control K C, it will comment everything highlighted, and Control K U uncomments everything. Super handy. Oh no, root. Let's see what happens with this. I'm not sure the notify is going to do anything. Install. Yeah, so we don't have. It wanted become true, become method sudo. But I'm guessing there is no handler for the notify. So I'm just going to delete that. Configure. Okay. Sudo. Or I think we can do pkill hup auditd. And I think that restarts the auditd rules. We do var log. We can go to audit. Let's just do sudo su. We'll do it on this pane. Var log audit. We can see audit.log. And if I tail it, we can see just what it's doing. Looking at this, I don't think pkill hup actually restarted auditd because the actual rules give a lot of tagging, and I don't see those tags in this. So I'm going to do sudo auditd restart or sudo service auditd restart. I should have done systemctl restart auditd, but I still use the service flag often. let's see. Let's go cd etsy audit.rules. We definitely have a rule file. And we got the -k, so these are the tags I was looking for. So maybe everything is working. cd for log, tail-f, audit, tail-f, audit.log. Open new pane. Let's just cat Etsy shadow. We're going to get a denied. And we should see the deny here. Audit logs are a pain to search with. Audit in specific, because it has so many different lines. Like each thing is going to be spread across multiple lines. There is a binary called AU report. Let's see. So this will give reports on various things. I think it's -w. Let's see. How do we just read everything? I could have swore it was AU report -r. Oh, AU search is what I want. -r. There we go. And we could do searches through this. I think there's like an AU search grep success. So we can do AU search -sv no. And that's going to search for everything that failed, right? So whenever something on the system says access denied, this has been reported, this is how you would be able to find it, through AU search, searching for the success value of no, right? And we can see this one. Let's see, which syscall is this? This is message. Here's the syscall. It is syscall 257. I want to say this is a file open. Syscall 250. Let's just use syscall Linux. I want, actually not this, the searchable syscall table. And if we search for 257, we can see that is indeed open. But I don't like using auditd logs like this. I always install a plugin called Laurel, and that gives me it in JQ format, just because I don't use auditd enough to really know all these flags with muscle memory. Instead, I like being able to grep through things. And if we grepped on this, we would only get like this line. It wouldn't go and give us like the process title and things like that, because auditd logs are multi-line. So that's where the plugin Laurel comes in. So if I Google Laurel GitHub, we can go to it. And again, I did show this plugin on the video I referenced before with Oh My God, right? So highly recommend that. But we're going to create an Ansible role just to install Laurel. And if we go to Laurel install instructions, we can download the latest build and then do various things. But first, it wants us to add a user called _Laurel. So let's add that. So we installed auditd, configured the rules. We're going to do -name, create Laurel user. Let's see, is there, yeah, a user module. So we have the name, Laurel, the state is going to be present, the shell. I'm going to add bin false. We don't want a password. The whole purpose of this user is just so the plugin doesn't run under root, right? I think there's a create home. We can do no. So now this will just create the user without a home directory. We need to specify where the home directory is, though. So we can say home this. So the reason why I don't want to create a home is I think if we didn't specify this, it would create a it would copy the skeleton for a home directory into varlog Laurel, which adds like a bash profile, desktop, things like that. And we just don't want it to do that. So that's why we did this. So I'm going to, again, add become true, become method sudo, and we can run our playbook. So dev shm sudo who am I, Ansible playbook. We can do main.yaml, installing, configuring, and we added the Laurel user. So if I cat etsy passwd, we do have Laurel. If I do ls var log, let's grep Laurel. It has not created this directory. So we need to create the directory for it. So let's go back and we can say create directory varlog Laurel. And we can have this. So it's going to create varlog Laurel. State is a directory, owner group, 750. That sounds good. So now we have the user installed. So the next thing we'll have to do is add config.toml and customize it. So let's see. I'm just going to go back here and we can grab, where is it? Etsy, Laurel config, and let's just download this. So I'm going to make directory, Laurel, go in here, wget this file. And then we also need a second file, which will be the auditd plugin. So we go plugins.d, laurel.conf, raw, copy, wget this. Okay. So we can go back to our playbook and we'll say name, copy, Laurel, config.toml to what it want it. Let's go back to the install instructions. I think it's Etsy Laurel config, right? Yeah, Etsy Laurel config. Etsy Laurel. So there we go. We'll also need to create an Etsy Laurel directory. The owner can be root. There we go. That's good. Copying that file to this directory. Looks good. And then the other thing we needed was the auditd plugin. So let's do ls etsy audit. Let's go to a root one, cd etsy audit. And there is a plugins.d, and that's where we're going to add this. And I'm doing this, showing it, because on some systems, it's auditsp and not audit plugins.d. So the directory does change sometimes, but Parrot is just going to place it here. And I think it says it right here, register Laurel plugin. So definitely pay attention to the logs or instructions, right? So we can copy this. Let's see. I don't know why I copied that because I need to copy this line. Copy Laurel. This will be Laurel dot, what is the name? Conf to Etsy audit dot plugins.d. Okay, so source, laurel.conf, destination, Etsy audit plugins.d, laurel.conf. That is all correct. So now the last thing we have to do is download the actual Laurel binary. And I'm not going to put the binary as a file just because I don't like putting compiled binaries on GitHub. We'll just download it off of Laurel's latest, I guess, which isn't the greatest, but it's what we can do, right? So I'm going to copy this link. And we can say -name downloading that. Get URL. URL is this. Destination will be /temp. Okay. We can do mode 640. I don't think we need to become true here. So the next thing we want is extracting. Extract this. And sweet, there is an archive. I was just going to run a shell command, right? But this is why it's always handy to use Copilot, because it tells you. We'll just do temp Laurel. And I'm going to run this real quick. So Playbook, let's see what happens. Change, downloading, and we don't have a temp Laurel directory. So that's why I was running it, just to see if this would automatically create it. It does not. So let's create another directory. Create directory /temp Laurel. Let's see. What if I don't specify owner and group? Is it just going to use my current user? Installing auditd, skipping all those. Let's see. chown failed. Let's just do that. An archive. Oh, because I put the chown here. That's why it did that. Become true. That was weird. Become method sudo. That's fine. So we should now finally have Laurel copied to temp. And all we want to get is this, right? Let's see, how does it do it on GitHub? Let's see. Release. I got away from the documentation page. I think it uses the install command, right? Let's see. User add. Yes, it's using install. So let's try copying this and going back here. We can do -name running this command. And let's see what autopilot says. It's doing command change dir become. I think that's a decent job. Let's see what happens when we run this playbook if we get our logs. So I'm trying to go to my terminal. We can do Ansible playbook. installing auditd. Okay, if we do ls verilog Laurel, let's do sudo. We don't have anything. One thing I did just remember that I really dislike in this is if we go to config.toml, there's one thing we have to change, I believe. Yeah, this read users. We want to get rid of Splunk because Splunk user doesn't exist, so it's going to error out there. So we can rerun it, but I think we're going to have to restart auditd to have it take effect. So let's do sudo ls. It is still empty. So let's just create a new thing, -name, restart auditd. Service auditd restarted. Looks good to me. Run the playbook yet again. And after we have this working, we're going to kind of refactor this playbook to use loops and make it a bit less steps, at least in the code, right? So let's just do lsla verilog Laurel. And we still don't have a log. I was really expecting to. Maybe that's because root owns this directory, I think. Oh no, Laurel does. If we do ls verilog, grep Laurel. So Laurel does own it. So let's do cd etc audit, or maybe verilog, grep-i Laurel on syslog. Let's see. Exceeded max restarts. So I think the program works. Let's see. What did we download? We did 64-bit glib. That looks good. Let's see. What is this? I bet it's our configs. Laurel probably can't read this one. We may not need the plugins, but we need this. Let's try adding this. Dev shm, playbook. Run through all these rules. Okay. Sudo ls la verilog Laurel. Still don't have anything. Let's see. Can't create audit logger user not found. This is going to definitely be the issue. Sudo v etc Laurel. Let's do it from root, etc Laurel, config.toml. So there is no read user. I wonder. I'm going to add IPSec real quick. Service auditd restart. Okay. So I think read user, we can't just do a blank user. We did double quotes like this and was looking for a user that did not exist because it had one entry in this list. I think if we do it like this, it'll work. So let's do auditd stop sudo rm etc Laurel, not etc, verilog Laurel, audit.log, start it. Sweet, that works. So let's go back to a playbook real quick. And we need to edit this read users to be nothing. So now if we do verlog Laurel, if we cat audit log, it's going to look a little worse than auditd logs, but we can do JQ. We don't have the binary. Let's add it real quick. Let's see. Name, add JQ package from apt. There we go. Isn't like Copilot just amazing how I can just say the name and then it does the next like 5 lines for me? I absolutely love that. So now with JQ, it puts these on multiple lines and groups like the 3 lines that were attributed with that log to 1, which is super handy, right? So I'm going to go and cat etsy past WD again. And if we now cat audit log, we can grep for success no, like this. Let's see, I need to close the quote. And we have it right here. So if I do tail-1, this will be the latest one. Let's just pipe it over to less. I think -C would do colors. No. Oh, well. So we have ID. We can see the syscall, success, no, exit status, the exe. There's probably a parent process. We have all the UIDs here. Oh, it even translated that syscall for us. So we had the syscall number, which was 257, but it tells us the syscall itself is open@. So yeah, these are memory addresses for argv, I guess. Parent process is bash. So this just becomes super handy, right? Then we could grep for like parent process ID 2194 to see what else it runs. I'm just going to run who am I real quick. So we could use ausearch and search for ID 2194 now. Or I think we could like, let's just try PID. If I just grep for 2194, let's see. JQ.less-s. There's a grep. It's me doing it. Was there who am I in this? Let's just do AU search grep PID. So we can do -pp for parent ID 2194, and we can see everything related to that parent process. I bet if we went back to JQ, it's probably like PPID, then 2194. Does that get anything? It does. JQ dot. So we can see argv, who am I? That was the last thing I ran from that parent process. But that is going to be all the configuring of auditd we will do. But now we have this super nasty playbook that we just want to simplify when we copy it over to our role, right? And I'm going to do that by just creating loops for things that we did multiple times. So I can say installing packages, and then under the name, instead of just doing auditd, I can say item, and here we can use the loop and create auditd. Wow, it knew I wanted JQ. I guess it knew it from all the way down here. Copilot never ceases to amaze me. So now that will install both those packages. And then there were 2 directories we needed to create. So audit rules, that's a good place to copy them. Let's see. I'm going to add line breaks between items. So create Laurel user. We can't simplify that. Create a directory. So we could potentially simplify this. Yeah, so we have temp Laurel and this. So we can say create directories for Laurel, and the path item, and then loop. Is it automatically going to know what I want? No. For a log, temp Laurel. So we have that one. See, I think Etsy Laurel, I think there's only one directory we needed owned by root. So I'm going to leave that. So we copy the config. We're copying plugins.d. We could probably loop through that and do it in one, but it's going to get complicated because we'd have a multi-item list. And we did it before in the last video with the lookup dictionary value. Not too concerned about it though. So here we're downloading it. Here we are extracting it. Here we are running it. And then we restart auditd. So this is the playbook I want. I'm going to copy this. We're going to do Shift Tab twice to put it all on the very first line. And let's go to our playbook directory, roles. Let's see. What do we call it? Configure logging. And then we need tasks. I'm going to call this auditd.yaml. Set paste. Paste it in. Main.yaml. Auditd. Okay. Let's see, we had files, so let's make dir files, cp dev shm Laurel to files. What else do we have in dev shm? Anything? Audit rules to files. There we go. And I think that may be it. There's probably going to be something we're missing, but we're going to add main.yaml to add the role, customize logging, configure logging. I am not known for consistency in how I do naming things. Maybe the next video we'll do one where we simplify this playbook and clean things up and go over everything. So I think that should be good. Let's remove parrot build, tar cjvf, parrot build.tar bz2, parrot build, IP address. We're going to run this and hope for the best. So copy, parrot fresh, wget 8000 parrot build, tar bz2, tar xjvf, and then sudo who am I, password, Ansible, playbook, main.yaml. And I know the font is small. That's something we do fix. We need Ansible Galaxy install -r. One day I'm going to update that snapshot so it includes this. We do have an error with how we're doing this. Let's see. Oh, how we do the item. Shoot. Let's go back. Let's see. I guess we can just do it in V. parrot build, roles, configure, logging, tasks, auditd. I think it's like this. It's not the first time I made that mistake. And this is why we always test things afterwards. Let's see, tar. Oh, I thought I deleted everything. That would have been bad. So that's saved. Start the server. wget tar. Then we go in parrot build, Ansible, Playbook, main. And it looks like it is working. I wonder, let's see. I'm going to grep for parrot build.tar.bz2 and audit logs. And let's see what we see from it. Verlog Laurel. We should do it in sudo. Grep this audit log jq dot. Let's see. Bin bash. Does Python ever access it? I don't think so. I was wondering if it would log like the Python process itself. Accessing it. Well, I bet it does. Let's see, ps-ef grep for Python. Am I still starting the server or running it? Who am I? I stopped it. Darn. Let's start it again. And uh-oh. Burp failed. That was in the last video. It shouldn't fail again because burp is running. I wonder what the timeout is. Did I not update the sleep? Let's see. CD, customize browser. It is sleeping 30 seconds, so maybe I just have to sleep longer. If you watch that video, the issue is I'm starting burp in headless mode, and sometimes Java takes a long time to start burp suite. So, yeah. But everything so far is looking good. We just enabled our syslog. It's configuring UFW. That all is fine and dandy. But what we wanted to do is wget this again. Do I have it on my clipboard? I do. So we have now downloaded it. psef grep Python. So I want to look at parent process of 14174. cd var log. We can just do sudo au search pp that. No matches. Let's see. So maybe we can't really identify everything this Python server downloaded. Grep parrot build tar bz2. Let's see. My VM just hung. There we go. I'm going to grep-v on grep, so we're not showing ourselves. And we see us creating the tar, but we don't see Python accessing the tar. So we're not logging all file open commands. If that's something we wanted to do, we could probably edit the auditd config to do that. And maybe that will be a future video. Right now, I'm just concerned, or not concerned, but I want to make sure this all worked. It is downloading the last plugin and everything looks good. So I'm going to restart my terminal, change profile to video. That looks good. Sudo su, put password of password, var log. We can go into, if we grep-i UFW on syslog, we see that nothing sent us a SYN packet, so we can test this real quick. So copy this, curl, connection did not work, but sudo IPTABLES-L-N less input is accept. I don't think we restarted UFW. Systemctl restart UFW. There we go. Now we have the SYN log. So we definitely need to add that to a package. Let's go to Laurel. And we have audit logs here. So everything looks to be good. We have a lot of logs. But yeah, so that's good. Let's go back to this and restart UFW and, well, shoot. I was going to restart both packages in the auditd.yaml, but that wouldn't make sense because just how we have it organized, right? So let's go to roles, configure logging, tasks, UFW, and we want to restart a package here. UFW. So that's going to be the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, and I will see you all next time.